On episode 4 of Unstructured, Sam and I are chatting marketing, the state of marketing, our perspectives on marketing, on agencies, on content, on social media, on virality, a whole bunch of things. Super fun discussion, so stay tuned and enjoy. This feels very, very close. A little more intimate here.
Uh-oh. As he wipes the sweat off his forehead.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you for the coffee this morning.
Cheers.
Cinnamon coffee.
For anyone who cares, it's processed with cinnamon.
Yeah. A lot more than cinnamon coffee.
Very special.
More than just cinnamon and coffee.
Not my coffee, but a coffee processed with cinnamon.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Well, we didn't listen to Blitzkrieg Bop today, and
No.
I feel tired now.
Do you? This is going to energize you quickly.
Yeah.
Does talking about marketing get you energized, Sam?
It's about to.
Yeah.
It is about to.
It is for sure.
Where do you want to jump in on this one? How do you want to start?
I had the idea of talking about the state of the market in loose terms for marketing.
The market of marketing.
The market of marketing and where we are. Just because I enjoy chatting marketing. I think you probably like marketing.
Yeah.
Which is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
But of course, we're not foremost experts in every corner and area of marketing, but
True.
we have our own opinions and we have a unique perspective. So I thought it'd be fun for us to kind of chat through some questions about the state of marketing.
Yeah.
The state of the market of marketing.
Yeah. Absolutely. As a producer and a consumer.
Exactly. What comes to mind when you think of the state of marketing right now?
Well, I think it depends what division of marketing you want to talk about.
Because it's broad.
Yeah, because I think that there's rabbit holes already. I mean, there's so many different types of marketing, and they're all changing so much, or so many different streams of media that are marketing that are changing so drastically.
I don't know if you, in college, they even touched on like social media much in your marketing class or classes.
A bit, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think things are just have and are changing so quickly.
Yeah.
That it's interesting. I think that, I'll just kind of focus in on social media instead of because that's really what's most relevant to us. Because I mean, I think it's things are like wildfire on there, and then like a bucket of water on a flames the next day. Like this is literally something that came up like just a couple of days ago. Like this like new, like a different type of like meme, like the chill guy meme, which I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's like a cartoon character with like certain music that's like just pasted over different images or videos or whatever. And like this is something that I saw like one day in the morning, and then like by the evening, it was like all over my For You page. Like a lot of different accounts that I follow were using that like either as just sort of like joke capacities, or as like even in like marketing products. And it was insane to me how quickly, like it was literally like that morning to that evening was how fast like this one like micro subject spread across social media. And I think it's also interesting. You have to consider that your For You page and what you see on the internet is completely designed for you.
Yeah.
So, and it sees what you like and then redelivers that back to you. So, I did get in a feedback loop of that, but I think it is still evident with the ways that it was across so many different types of pages and even pages that I follow organically. But I think it's just kind of like a way, it's just looking at it, you're like, wow, like that's how quickly like fads come on and then fads leave.
Yeah.
And then the thing that comes to mind with that is like chasing fads is really hard if you're not an extremely agile creator.
Yeah.
Because being late to a fad is not cool.
Yeah.
Like if you try and chase that and you're a couple weeks behind or whatever, like that's a lifetime on social media.
That's crazy. So many things you just touched on as far as like the speed at which marketing's changing. I think another cool one is the opportunity that exists for real creative content, that's still alive with the power of AI. The ability to replicate trends, to put your own spin on it as like a form of creative, but also like replicating what's popular. And lastly, the way media is now so curated to your own interests and personalized. So many interesting things we could chat all day about.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about what you mean with the AI?
Chat GPT and all these tools now that are able to help you like create content, but I don't know if I'd really say it's, true creation.
Yeah, you're about to get some artists mad in the comments.
Yeah. And again, like I do think that these tools are helpful as far as they're meant to be tools, right? They're not meant to be the entire creative process. And I do think that as they continue to become as they continue to get created more tools and as they become more implemented more throughout the creative process, I think we'll start to see less and less creativity and authenticity on social media as a whole.
Yeah.
But it's providing the opportunity for true creatives to still have their space. When you see all of this, what becomes white noise,
right,
for the new trend like you're talking about, it just opens the door for people who really have a new perspective to step in.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of open doors and doors that open on the internet.
Yeah.
And it like right place, right time, having something interesting enough, having something that grabs, all it could take was, and I guess I'm kind of commenting more on the virality of the internet rather than focusing on marketing right now, but I find it really interesting. Like if your whatever gets shared by the right page or the right page finds it interesting, like it can be like the difference between getting like 1,000 views or like 1,000,000 views. If like the right page, or the difference between 1,000 views and like a trend picking up that then spreads like wildfire for a week or whatever.
I've got a question for you now.
Yeah.
Did you finish that thought, or do you want to keep?
I think that's fine.
Okay, cool. The importance of virality in marketing from the marketing side. Does it matter?
Sorry, I keep clearing my throat into the microphone. I don't think it matters. I mean, I think it's I think like there's good stock advice if you want to follow it. That's like don't try and time the market.
Yeah.
Like don't chase the market. Put in your.
Sam just saved the day.
Yeah, our memory card ran out on our audio recorder, which is an odd thing to happen because that is like
the video cards. Yeah, you check that, but that was my fault. I will take full ownership there. So I don't know. We'll have to find out exactly where we dropped off, but we brought up the topic of how do we get started on that topic of about the bands and the songs? Chasing virality. If you can't. If you can't move past kind of that moment of fame, right?
Yeah.
So I asked you, I said, do you think bands who have one hit song and they just get pestered and badgered to play it all the time, everywhere, they end up hating that song at the end of it? And we'll tie it back to marketing, I promise.
I think it would be a good question to ask a musician. I think that I wonder that too. And like, there was recently a band that I started listening to, and like they have a bunch of good songs off this album, but they have like one standout that has like 180 like million views or whatever, and the rest of them are like 10 million or something like that on via Spotify play counter. And all their promotional stuff on their page all has that song, and like even I've cashed out the song now. Like I'm like. I don't really, like, I've overplayed it, and I really have a habit of doing that anyways, of overplaying songs that I really like. I assume yes.
Yeah.
But you can only play it one time at the concert.
Yeah.
So, But I mean, I think that's kind of like a long-standing thing with musicians, I would bet.
Yeah.
Because even like predating high internet usage, there's like this song that everybody loves off the album. Like,
right.
or like they're their hit.
Yeah.
They gotta play
over
and over. So I guess it depends if it's a good song or not.
Yeah.
But that does spark something in me that or thought in me that I've been noticing recently and thought was interesting. And it has to do with music and online like play counts. So I was noticing that these songs that have insanely large numbers of listens on Spotify, I was watching, like I was on YouTube looking at the same song and it would have like less than 1 million views on YouTube, but on Spotify, like tens of millions, if it's like a viral hit, like hundreds of millions. But it shows how like that the media types that people are consuming and like have changed drastically. Mm-hmm. Like YouTube is no longer the place that you go to listen to that song, especially since they're really going crazy with ads.
They are, yeah.
Which bothers a guy like me who used to use Google Chrome ad blocker.
Yeah.
And so up until recently, I didn't need ads. But I think that that's kind of an interesting comment on like how things are changing online and how things will always like continue to change.
Yeah.
Because YouTube used to be where you would go to watch the music video, where you would go to watch the listen to the song and all that. But now what is popular on YouTube is I personally watch like a lot of like long form content on YouTube about my hobbies.
Yeah.
And those accounts, like those pages still get a lot of views.
Yeah.
Like I love putting on some Outdoor Boys in the background. I don't know if you're familiar with that page or not.
I'll have to look it up now.
It's this like 40 or so year old guy who goes into the Alaskan wilderness and like survives for like a week.
Okay.
Sometimes he brings his like kids with him. Wow. But he gets like $50 million views on like a video, which also he monetizes and plays multiple ads throughout. And when you have like a 50-minute video that you're getting high engagement like throughout the whole video, that's like insane monetization.
That is.
Which,
wow.
That's not really the topic of what
we're living in a world where you can
but
make crazy money by recording yourself camping.
Crazy money.
Insane. Creativity.
Yeah.
Goes back to creativity.
Yeah.
Can I tie this back to marketing real quick?
I think that'd be appropriate.
I've been thinking about this, and I've heard a couple of different sources talking about virality, and I think that's that's just the goal. That's what people just assume. Oh, if I go viral, like that's the goal. That's when I know I've made it. But for the reasons you mentioned, but I also think for other reasons, that's not necessarily what's going to move the needle for the business. And if you're selling, I saw this video. I've seen some crazy product videos recently, like reviews of businesses that make crazy products.
Yeah,
and their entire business is sustained by viral TikToks. So if you're making like a $5 slime and like you advertise that can support your business. I think the goal for that is virality, where it's like a cheap product that you can buy wherever in the world, right?
Yeah.
But for a lot of service businesses or local businesses, if you go viral with a video, that doesn't mean people are now suddenly working with you.
I think if anything, it would do bad things to your business. I'm gonna say that.
Wow.
Because I think it's gonna fracture your image of what you're there for, and if you're just a regular person who gets that, like then that might be something that you chase, and then you change like who you are online, and then you maybe like change how. I think it has more potential to change you, like of that like instant micro celebrity aspect of it. That really you're not a celebrity at all.
It's true.
And so I think I think that has potential to like change your online presence.
Yeah.
Maybe how you perceive the online activity.
Yeah.
In a way that I think overall would be negative to your business.
Yeah.
And that's just maybe a hot take.
Well, I mean, you think of all the content that we consume, and even accounts that we follow, but we don't necessarily buy from.
Yeah.
It's just something that we enjoy learning from or being entertained by. So I guess that's my point is virality doesn't always translate to business.
No. But I think it's negatively correlated. So I say that with literally no evidence or research.
One example, if we're working with a service-based business like a landscaper or a tiling company or a builder, something like that. I think if you go viral, I don't think that's a bad thing. But I don't think it's necessarily going to that's not going to be the thing that brings you business here.
No, I think if you're able to get steady high view and user engagement on your videos, I think that the biggest asset that creates for you is increased credibility with people who come across your page who are within your geographic location to utilize your service.
For sure.
Because people are, I think like, I don't think it's going to bring in people because most of the people who see stuff online are really far away.
Yeah, it's true. Exactly.
And if you're a service-based business, you're really operating within, I don't know, like 50 square miles.
Yeah.
That's probably a big radius. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that people who go to your page and they say, whoa, this person's got, like, if it was, it could be like I think if I saw a service-based business around here getting like 50,000 views repeatedly on a video, which is a lot, arguably, but not by the standards of the internet.
Right.
I would be like very impressed by that. And like, I think it would give an authoritative, it would give them an air of authority that I'd say, oh, these guys are serious.
Like, it can build credibility, no doubt. I think we'd be amazed if we saw either follower count or views, and we had the magic view into how much money people actually make from their social media. We'd be very surprised that videos with a really low view count or accounts with very few followers can still make tons of money from social because they are reaching the right person.
Right. And that's in terms of conversion, like sales conversions for the actual business.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where especially from a business point of view, like that's what you want. You can't just
yeah.
And I mean, you can have a high view count video, but you can't monetize one. You can't monetize that.
Exactly, unless you have if you have other goals of building a brand and getting sponsorships or other business goals. But if your goal as a service business is to grow that business, I think it's the internet tells us virality is the goal when really you just need to bring people through the door and get back to how can I reach a person and then how can I sell them something.
Right. And you got to remember that those people are like living next door to you.
Yeah.
Like the internet is insanely vast and your market is within a stone's throw of the front door of your business, essentially. And like not really, like within miles.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's a service-based product.
Right. So if we were talking to the service-based business right now, what's one thing you think they could implement right now that would make a big difference for their business? And to put in context, let's assume that they're, a local business. They might have one person who's helping doing marketing, but they're trying to do everything. What's something they could do to improve their marketing?
So for me, the accounts that I will follow and engage with that are kind of outside of my typical following, maybe for a business or something, is accounts that have authentic personality. Yeah. They got the funk you can't fake, like just some...
I've never heard that.
Even if it's just some, guys who are doing construction or whatever, like if I get a glimpse into like the back, like behind the scenes, and it's like cool people who maybe have like a little bit of natural comedy, but I think the thing that I think I find super interesting is just seeing like a little bit behind the scenes of like businesses, and I think that gives you a better idea of who they are, and I think that that makes me more, it makes you feel like you kind of know them a little bit already. So if you're going to do business with somebody, seeing a little bit of how they behave or whatever, even though it is, videos, you never really know what's real and what's not. But I think it makes you feel like a little bit more comfortable.
Well, I think that's why behind the scenes is in a way authentic, because it's almost like behind the scenes of what the public sees.
Right.
And of course you can try to fake it, but generally speaking, I think that's why people enjoy that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely, and it's also like, in a lot of ways, it's cool to see if there's a behind the scenes on how a product or service is created or performed. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because I like seeing that kind of stuff. Like, I'm a curious guy. I like to see what's going on, how things are done. So I think that's a value add. But that's kind of like, I think that, like, that's the biggest, like, that type of content is more interesting to me than a super manicured video.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I think if there was one thing, I mean, there's so many different things, but one thing that comes to mind that's kind of top of mind is putting a process in to be able to create. Again, if you know what you want to create, putting a process in to make that happen. Because I think that's what I'm seeing time and time again is that marketing for so many is not a priority and it gets pushed back and it never happens. And I can't tell you how many calls and meetings I've had where people are like, we want to get started and we're ready. And then you email them and then you never hear back. And that's just the nature of marketing. When you have all this work that needs to get done, you're not prioritizing marketing. And it might not hinder today's work, but if you want to grow a business at some point, you'll need to invest in marketing. And I know we were gonna, tackle this at the end as kind of a fun question, but not everyone needs social media. They don't need to market on social media. I think it's a billboard now for every brand, and you're visible by everyone on social media. But I'm not trying to say everyone needs to use social media to market, but everyone should have some sort of marketing if they want to grow their business. They need to, or they're not going to grow.
Yeah. And I think at the very least, you don't need a social media, but you need to have some sort of landing page on the internet. Yeah. You need to have something so that if somebody Googles you, there is something that gives their hours like how to contact you and maybe what the heck you do.
Yeah. And for some businesses, they don't have a website anymore. They just have a social media profile. So can that act as the same thing?
Yes and no. I think yes, but I don't like that. I was looking for a place to get my hair cut, and there's a place like right down the street from where I live. And I'm like, that would be handy. Like, just go get my hair cut right down the street. Like, I can walk there, because haircuts it's like one of those things where it's like you got to like schedule in the middle of the day and you're like working or whatever, and you got to like block this time to go get your freaking haircut. Like, I find it silly, but anyway, where am I going? So I'm like looking for them online. Yeah. And then it's like when you're on the like Google Maps, you can click on the business and it's like go to their website, and it takes me to a Facebook page that's been out of date since like last April. Wow. So in that situation, not very helpful.
Did they have a website?
No.
Whoa.
So I think if you're going to just do a social media, which I think in that case, it's usually Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to keep it a little bit updated.
I agree, though. I feel like you need to have one place online that represents your business well, whether that's a website or social media. But if you have one that doesn't represent you well, get rid of it. Yeah. If that's a website or social media.
Yeah, because I mean, if you have they could just have a phone number, because then it's also like, well, I don't get a good sense of what type of like salon this is. Like, do you guys cut men's hair? Yeah. Like, I don't know what kind of styling you do. I don't know anything. I don't know who you have for stylists. I haven't called them yet, but I have a good idea of when I call them, it's going to go to the voicemail, and like maybe somebody will call me back, because usually they don't have like front desk people these days.
The funny thing is, if I ever see that, I think, oh, did they go out of business? But on the flip side, if they haven't posted, I know for us at one point we weren't posting because we were so busy.
Yeah.
Which was just so interesting. But I do think if you're not keeping up with it, it can do more harm than good.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely lets the consumer's mind wander.
Yeah.
And I would say ultimately that's kind of like what you're trying not to do with marketing. You're trying to,
right.
You want them to know exactly you want to tell them everything about your business so that they know whether it's a fit for them or not.
Exactly.
And if it's not a fit, you convince them that it is anyways, or you get them in the door anyways.
And I think that can easily be done on social media without a website, depending on business or service, product or service.
Yes.
Can we shift gears?
Sure.
Let's talk about real estate specifically.
Okay.
What are you seeing? Where do you think the state of the market is with real estate media? What's working? What's not working? Where do you see it going? Anything like that?
Yeah, I feel like I've got a lot to say about this. I'm not really sure where to start though. I think on social media for real estate agents, what do I think?
Social media or marketing in general?
Where do you, we want to talk marketing in general?
I mean, we can, we don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I think as a real estate agent, every property that you sell is that opportunity to sell yourself. And I think that's not a secret to real estate agents. Like they know that. Like when you're marketing a home, it's not beyond a certain level. It's not marketing the home, it's marketing the services that you provide as a professional in that realm.
Well, it's kind of meta because what people want to know, in a sense, is how will you market my home?
Yeah.
And so when you advertise how you market a home, you're really advertising how you advertise.
Right.
Well.
So I think that really high quality photos, absolutely critical for the sale of your home. It's the bare minimum of what you should be doing.
Yeah.
It's the bare minimum of what I would expect from a real estate agent. I think that there's different ways that you could take video. I think it's a super valuable tool for them to advertise themselves, to show that they're doing as much as they can for the property. I think that home sellers love to see the videos of their homes. I don't know if it helps sell a home anymore, but I think it helps sell the agent.
Yeah.
So if you're doing it, you might as well be in the video. And I kind of like if you don't like being on camera or whatever, or you don't like talking on camera, I actually don't mind those lifestyle type videos where like the real estate agent's like, and this works really well for high-end properties where the real estate agent is like walking around inside of the house, reading a magazine or whatever. I like those.
It gives context to the space.
Yeah. Because it can be like a video of an empty home. I mean, it's still great. But yeah, it's not the same as like people living in the home or like showing you like how cozy it can be or whatever. And like there's some people who like hire like full teams of actors for their videos. And those are usually for very high-end homes that are in, when you're selling something that's 10 million and above, and then your commission is big enough to give you a little bit more wiggle room on that. But those are interesting when there's like full skits, and not in a funny way, but like I like full short stories built in to the homes. Yeah. Those are interesting.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. I think that's a great opportunity to sell. Like you said, if someone doesn't want to be on camera giving a narrated tour, then just do some stuff around the home.
What do you think the most effective tour is when they're narrating it?
As you were talking about that, I think you hit on a couple points where it might not sell the home, but when the agent is trying to advertise how they advertise, some sellers, I think, want video content. I know a lot of them do. And so you have that aspect of like, there's still a value and there's still sort of that perspective that you should create a video to show the home, which I do think it can add value in a listing. But I think, like you said, there's also that perspective of the agent wants to build their own digital presence online, which I think is a great value too. But I think those are sort of like different outcomes a little bit. And you can overlap for sure. But I think when it comes down to it is, what are you really trying to do? Are you trying to give the viewer an idea of what the home might be like and show off the home? Or are you just trying to build your brand? So I think there's overlap, but I think there is kind of two separate, like, real distinct outcomes and desires there. So that's kind of my perspective. But I guess I think the biggest overlap. Did something happen?
I just thought somebody might have.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's fine. Thought somebody might be here.
Okay. It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, that's true. Is the red lights?
I didn't put our recording in progress sign on the door.
That's okay. Probably would have blown away.
It's true. All right. So I do think the biggest area of overlap for these video tours for agents to market themselves and market the property is something that hits the highlights and something that's where someone who doesn't know about the home sees the video and says, I might be interested in this home.
Yeah.
And that agent did a really good job with that.
Yeah. Maybe I'll hire them to sell my house when I move in here.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that the advice I always give agents is like, you should talk about the things that are not like the givens. Like, people know how many bedrooms this house has. That's a waste of time because
right.
If they don't know and they're watching your video, like, they're going to go to the MLS listing of the home.
Right.
Like, that's the first piece of information you look at. Or if this comes up on a search, they already know. So I personally I think it's a waste of space when you should be talking about parts of the home that don't convey as well through text.
Absolutely.
Like the privacy, the location, the proximity to these things, the things you can do at the house.
Yeah.
Like, those are like how the house makes you feel. Those are the things that that's gonna give you that edge. Like, I think that's just the best use of the time of that video.
Yeah.
To get across those types of things that can't be communicated in another way as well.
Yeah.
Because and it's more like if you have a creative, like, description of the home in the MLS, like, it's more like getting into some of those things but you also have the video to support what you're saying. Yeah. And I don't want that to get confused that you should read your MLS description, because that's not what I mean. I just mean that a lot of times people include these types of things in the MLS description if you're a creative type of person. But again, it's just those things that are not immediately known or inherently translate from the MLS description or from the MLS page or photos.
Let's back out a little further. As a real estate media agency, primarily, shifting, what's working well for us as a business? And I guess to say, what are clients liking? What are they not liking? Where are they seeing value in working with us? Or where are they seeing value in general in terms of us being really their marketing partner?
I think from a high level, where they see a lot of value is the variety of products that we offer, service products. But so whatever the home is, if it's a lower grade home that they just want photos of, if it's an even lower grade home that they just want exterior photos of, if it's a really fancy place that they want full package, they want photos, they want the luxury photo video package and a Matterport tour, like, we can do all that. So I think that that's super valuable to have this team and I know this isn't really getting into the media part of it, but it's just kind of like what I think is super valuable about this, like, agency is that we can offer all of that or a small portion of that. And it all comes from the same place, and we make it easy for them to order for them to get their deliverables and for them to pay.
Yeah.
And they waste as little of their time as possible messing around with scheduling and all that.
Yeah.
I think that is super valuable.
Yeah.
And if you wanted me to drill down on media, I think that photos universally, that's just like the most important thing. I think if it's a high quality home, I think having like a luxury or more editorial style photos has been really successful for our clients. I think that a lot of our clients have really been able to take advantage of video in a super awesome way, and get super creative with it and build their own brand around it. You know, working with them, we've been able to help them like figure out what their style might be and how they do things a little bit differently. And and so I think that I've seen a lot of people be successful with that. And I think with offering social media videos, like just a different sort of formatting or shooting them, like we offer them vertically now, I've seen agents really like that, and really take off with that. So I think that's cool. What have you been seeing? What do you think?
I mean, I think you're right on, but I think largely it's like understanding the value that agents have, both in the media that you deliver, but in how they schedule, get the media, the interaction with the business. I feel like too much of the time agencies put the weight on the media and the production or the quality, but it's almost everything around that before and after that I think is equally, if not sometimes more valuable.
I agree, because that actually makes me think, like a lot of people actually talk about how important it is, like how we're really good to work with. And I feel like I've even had people say that like somebody else like creates a better product for their more to their liking, but they like working with us more. Or maybe that's somebody else's antidote that I stole. But I get told repeatedly how they enjoy working with us and how that's really important to them working with us. They like doing it, so it's easy and it's fun, and they think we're cool.
Yeah.
So
that's the challenge with a creative field where you can I don't really take offense if someone says, "Oh, I like their stuff more." When if it was like, "Oh, it's way better quality," then it'll make me think, are we missing something? But if it's a style, it's like we've tried really hard to make our style. I wouldn't say universal, but a high level, a real high level. But the reality is we cannot make, create every style for everyone.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to accept that. But I agree. And I think too, as we're starting to offer different types of services, we're seeing how the before and after piece of production is a little bit different when you're working with businesses and when you're, trying to create a type of content that is more, ad focused, marketing focused, not just real estate. And it's like, it's understanding how can we, do the pre-production piece. Mostly, I think that's more of the value add and the opportunity there. But it's such an interesting thing to think about and evaluate and understand. So at least for me, the largest value that we're providing, I think, is sometimes not the media.
Yeah.
Real quick, final question.
I'm there with that. Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Who shouldn't advertise on social media?
Who shouldn't advertise on social media?
It's not a trick question too. I mean, it's kind of everyone, but.
I think people who don't want to. I think people who, I don't know. I just think if you're not going to put effort into it and if you're going to do it badly, then you don't necessarily have to do it.
Yeah.
Make a good website.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Especially, it depends on what type of business are. If you're an old school person and like you have a service business that's not super high tech or anything, you definitely don't. You don't have to. If that's not who you are, or if the social media that you would create or you are creating is really inauthentic or not true to like who you are and what your business is or the vibe of your business, then I think you're better off not to, because maybe you're just somebody who operates better in face to face. Have a website where you tell them what you do, how to contact you, your phone number, a picture of you maybe, whatever. That's fine. But if your social media is going to harm you, if you're really mailing it in and like it just doesn't look good and it's not like, we're way, 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 way past just posting like Canva graphics on social media, in my opinion. That's my take on that. What do you think?
I think so. I think we touched on this earlier that whatever is online that represents your business has to be done well. And if it's not done well, don't do it. But I think you're right. I think you can get by with just a website. And I think social media is still a great opportunity, and it's low cost, high return in most ways for most businesses when done right. But some people just aren't the right fit for trying to build a presence or personality on social media. And I think there are other ways for businesses to succeed in marketing, not with social media. And I think the important thing, like we said, if a business is going to grow, they have to be marketing in some way. And it doesn't have to be social media.
It's because marketing takes many forms.
It does, which is okay too. And so I don't, when I'm talking with anyone, I don't have to say I don't say you have to use social media. Your business isn't going to work. I think it's a great option for nearly any business, but there's so many businesses that do an amazing job without social media. So I think that's certainly out there. It's just important that you evaluate what's best for your business.
Yeah, absolutely. It is not one size fits all.
That's right. Are photos ever going to come back on Instagram, Sam?
Well,
what if paired with music?
Whoa, don't get me started. I think actually I think that when Instagram allowed you to put a song to photos, I think that brought them back. And I don't know. I don't really think that they ever actually left. I think they just got overshadowed by 10-second clips, that high dopamine 10-second clips on the like reels. But I think I also think that the photos now have to either be really high quality or they have to evoke high levels of emotion. I think posting like whatever pictures is no longer a thing on Instagram. They have to evoke emotion, or they have to be really well produced. That's my thought on it.
I love it.
They got to be paired to a good song.
I love it.
For me to watch them or look at them.
All right. I don't have much of a take on that, so I guess we can end this here.
Very good.
All right.